And we're back. Josh, are you ready to get into Detective Comics?
As always, yep.
Okay. Josh is a big Clayface fan. As he's mentioned, the whole group really likes Clayface.
Oh, yeah.
And why is that?
I don't know. It's. I think a lot of it came from Batman the Animated Series. That was kind of my first exposure to him, and it's nice that since then they've kind of kept that inspiration, that reimagination of him, and he's started back to being his actor roots,
right?
Which he was in that.
Right. Detective Comics number 936, Rise of the Batman Part 3, Army of Shadows. Kate Kane meets Renee Montoya, wanting to discuss her current situation. Red Robin calls Kate and has her come to the Belfry. Batman has been beaten and captured by the colony. They call the team to the Belfry. Batwoman brings in her father, Colonel Kane, to help. Colonel Kane lets the colony into the Belfry. He reveals he is in command of the colony and what the colony's motives are. The Bat Team make a last-ditch escape from the Belfry. I didn't see this turn of events at all.
No, not really, no. But it is funny that, Batwoman's dad is sort of in line with a lot of other military characters who are the fathers of certain characters, like Thaddeus Ross, the father-in-law to the Hulk, and even Sam Lane, who's Lois Lane's dad. Sometimes they have pretty shady motives, so it kind of makes military parents a little untrustworthy in comic books.
I like the fact that Batwoman, even though she is the leader of this team, she's still unsure of what path she wants to take. And when she meets up with Renee tells her, you need to quit second-guessing yourself because you make the right decisions and you already know what the answers are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel it's kind of an interesting parallel between the makeup of that team and how old those characters are, how long they've been around in comics, because this Batwoman is really sort of the newest character to be introduced. I mean, the Spoiler debuted before her, Cassandra Cain debuted before her, and they're younger than her on the team. So it's still, I think, trying to establish her as a top-tier Batman family character.
Mm-hmm. Anytime you see Batman beaten up to that degree, the colony is a force to be reckoned with. They're not some fly-by-night, low-level thug organization.
Yeah, and they weren't even wearing name tags, so that's pretty impressive to get beaten up by the troopers. Those are some pretty tough troopers.
Yeah, so they have modeled themselves after Batman, and Kane was waiting for this move. I think he knew eventually that he was going to be led into the circle, and that created all types of havoc once they were in the Belfry, because he's got some people working with him, not only the colony, but some other people working with him in terms of hacking the Belfry system.
Mm-hmm. And they seem to be pretty high caliber, too. I mean, capable of stymieing even Red Robin. And that's pretty good. I mean, that's good for the colony.
Tim Drake is a genius in the DC universe.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got some competition there with the colony. So it looks like the major development is Batman's been captured, and they barely make it out in time. And Colonel Kane has a reason he wanted Batman, and the reason he is into the Belfry and taken after Batwoman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it also, I mean, really establishes him as not just a secondary character in the Batman universe. He's essentially a villain now. I think we can elevate him to that status.
Yes.
Sort of walking a fine line, but as terms of his motives, but
doing what he believes is right.
Yeah.
Yes. Detective Comics number 937, Rise of the Batman Part 4, The Great Escape. Batman awakens and escapes his confinement. He is being held in a place the colony call the Cave. Batwoman, Red Robin, the Spoiler, Orphan, and Clayface are in the old Gotham subway tunnels. Red Robin knows where the colony are located because he counter-hacked his network. Batman meets Ulysses Hadrian Armstrong, who reveals what the colony are. Batman and Colonel Kane have a face-to-face and reveals the plans on who they are surveilling, the League of Shadows. Batwoman and the team arrive just as Kane puts a gun to Batman's head. Well, we know more about the colony. I think we know pretty much everything about the colony now.
Yeah, and we hear it right from the colony themselves. They're pretty open about talking about themselves. Not only Colonel Kane, but also Ulysses Armstrong. Yeah. And
He was a genius, a little mad scientist there.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed that he'd, told Batman that he'd been reverse engineering all of his gadgets for years, and even just standing there, the longer that conversation took, he was finding out more about Batman.
Yes, which at the very beginning, when they were cataloging the utility belt, how many batarangs does he carry in those little pockets anyway?
Yeah. And one of the troopers finding the little piece of kryptonite and starting to say, gee, how much do you think this would go for? And the other one says, don't even try it.
Yes. But Batman's never out. As you see, he had a, if you want to call it a tooth, that he dislodged and was able to get out of his confinement pretty quick because he's Batman. But that also brings us to another point. When you have a Batman, now you have Batmen with military training and for a purpose. This group seems to be pretty formidable. They've got the brains, they've got the brawn, they've got the knowledge, they've got the equipment, and they've got the funding. How do you break up a group like that?
I don't know. And they even have the motive, too. I mean, they are out to save the world from what they call the League of Shadows, which sounds like it's maybe the next step up from the League of Assassins, which is a longtime Batman foe organization. And Batman doesn't even think they exist.
Right.
They're just a bedtime story designed to scare the League of Assassins. But no, Colonel Kane says no, they're out there and they have sleeper cells in Gotham City.
And we also find out the reason that Colonel Kane took on this assignment was to bring Kate back into the fold, where he could recruit her as a free agent and have her lead this team, which I think is pretty noble in a way, but also kind of because Batman and the Kanes are related. That is his uncle and that's his cousin. But he was kind of playing on the emotions. I don't think she's going to bite, but it does kind of question if she's going to waver between the loyalty she has for the Bat family and the loyalty she has to the father and wanting to kind of fill the shoes that he worked in.
Yeah, and it would probably be pretty appealing to her, too. I mean, with her military background, to be a part of a military organization, but I doubt she's gonna give up on sort of the superhero aspect to join a more, I think you could say, Machiavellian organization like the Colony.
Especially when Batman was watching that footage that Ulysses showed him, they pull out all the stops to take care of any threats. And that's something that the difference between the Bat family, they do not do, is the ultimate where they kill people. The Bat family does not do that. And then we see the Colony, they will stop at nothing to achieve their objective, which is a major fundamental difference between the two organizations. So how is Batman going to stop, and the team going to stop this?
Yeah, one of the little theories I had is maybe the League of Shadows will make themselves known pretty soon. I mean, if the Colony knows they exist, if this is such a secretive organization, they would probably try to stamp out that knowledge of their existence pretty soon. So this could be a battle with three sides.
That's true. Detective Comics went to 0 to 100 pretty quick, and it's a good ride. It's one of the titles that I would recommend if you haven't read it yet. I'd recommend Detective Comics.
And it's been one of my favorites too.
Okay.
Partly because it has Clayface, but it's I think it's the Batman themed title that I've liked the most so far.
We're going to have a new Clayface meter for Josh's Detective Comics, but it is, in all seriousness, it is a great series, and we do recommend it. And we're back. And as you can see, we went through a lot of comics in just this first part of this episode. We reviewed the following titles this week: Titans #1, Green Arrow Rebirth #1, Green Arrow 1, 2, and 3, and Detective Comics number 936 and 937. So tune us back in tomorrow when we discuss the following titles: Harley Quinn #1, Suicide Squad Rebirth #1. Then we go and we do Nightwing Rebirth #1, Nightwing #1, and Nightwing #2, and we finish off with Batman #3 and Batman #4. Any closing comments on this part of this episode?
Nope, this is just a big stack of comics to get through, so I'm glad we're splitting it up and taking our time.
Yes, definitely. So until tomorrow, when it's be at Saturday at 8 p.m., I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
Keep reading, keep enjoying, and we'll see you tomorrow.